Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GameStar TV for the HGC ANZ qualifiers. I'm your host, Kit Fox. We have had some amazing games tonight. We've had both of the two teams we are actually going to feature in this match, Nomia and Sweet Dreams. Nomia number 1, Sweet Dreams team number 2. So this one, hold on to your hats because it is going to be game of the night. So we're into round 3. I'm going to pass you back over to your casters, Skinny and Vandy, for number 1 versus number 2, Nomia versus Sweet Dreams.
Number 1 versus number 2. Not really a better way to really say that one, to be honest. This is the game that many will be placing their eyes firmly on. This is definitely a highlight for tonight, Vandy. And what we saw, how it ended up last week, we saw Sweet Dreams take week number 1. We saw Nomia take week number 2. Week number 3, all up in the air right now, and it's Towers of Doom, so we know how that can go.
Oh my gosh, Towers of Doom can be so action-packed, and you can really see some upsets here and there. So seeing the number 1 and number 2, I'm not sure if either team sort of favours this map, which is interesting to see. I haven't seen them pick it when they are available to choose the maps, so I really want to see how they behave on it and what their strategy is going into it.
Yeah, I mean, given the map itself as to sort of the niche picks we've seen on here before, okay, we're talking things like Lost Vikings, we're talking things like Keeping Murky, Tassadar being paired as a bit of a dynamic duo. It's a weird map, and it was one that's taken a bit of time for the scene to really grow accustomed to, not only domestically, but on an international level. But it's a map that can have some pretty interesting strategies as a result. So we're going to get this lobby underway. I'm just going to make sure these players are good to go. So I'll let you just cover for 2 seconds to make sure these teams are in tip-top shape.
No worries at all, Skimmy. And I was just going to even touch on in Towers of Doom, it's really interesting because it's the only map, I guess, where you're not physically attacking the core. You need to cap points, which actually then attack the core for you. And I guess that's where a lot of the strategy comes from, because if you do take over a fortification, it becomes yours and you can get even more points. So there's just a lot of playing around. We see wave clear heroes being quite favoured on this map, because if you can get the push going, it just really makes it that much more harder, because you're trying to defend your fort and defend yourself, as well as just trying to cap all the points that do come up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, we've seen a lot of Ragnaros tonight. Now, this is a map, once again, that Ragnaros shines on quite heavily. No surprises to see why he's being banned away in that second slot, actually allowing Tesla to be chosen this time, potentially. Now, we've seen a heavy presence on people deciding to ban it. So whether or not it gets picked up, look at that first pick now on Tesla. So going to be rather curious to see how he actually decides to build this one out. And instantly the response goes for Varian. I'm wondering, given the Sonya changes, if we're going to see a Sonya come out in this game too.
I feel like we might actually see the debut of Sonya tonight, but in saying that, now that we've seen Tassadar sort of fall through the cracks, exactly what is he going to bring, Skimmy? Why is he being banned almost exclusively in the 2 games that we streamed before?
That's going to be the case here. Is it going to be a Force Wall? Is it going to be an Archon? What has the meta decided to develop? And just to really touch on what Sweet Dreams have gone for, they are on your right-hand side. They've gone for Varian and Li Ming, really denying John from the MVP performance, saying, nope, you can't have it this time. We've taken your Reg away. We're going to take your Li Ming away on top of that. Flip side of things, they go for Malfurion and Vala. Not going to go for the Oriel pairing. They need a reliable CC cleanse. So they're going to pick up Malf. Quick draft here right now. The ban was on Anubrek as well as Zaya, so 2 complementary tanks to get amongst things, resulting into Harker actually being picked up and Morales to provide a ton of sustain, Vandy, for Sweet Dreams.
Really interesting right there. It's all going to be about just sort of making their durable champions even more durable. And on the flip side for Nomia, they just got, I guess, a lot of sort of protection for Valor right there. So she'd be pretty happy. And I'm really wanting to see what their last picks are. Are they going to go with more damage for Nomia? And then for Sweet Dreams, do they want to sort of get another tank in, or are they happy just having 2 bruisers?
I mean, the reason people ask about why we have a double tank setup is mainly because of the fact that, hey, if that Muradin gets low, there's your engage gone. He cannot get amongst it. You and the rest of the team have to run away. If you have another bruiser, somebody else with a lot of engage or a heavy health pool, they can get into the mix. They can make things happen. They are going to lock in the Sonya. So the Sonya change is finding some love. And this is an interesting team comp right now, complemented by the fact, or maybe even countered, however you want to phrase it, by the Tychus. I am so excited to see this one, Vandy.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing two of the heavily sort of reworked champions. We've got Tacita on the board, we've got Sonya on the board. Varian's had a little bit of changes here and there. So we've got a couple of champions here that we are going to get to see played competitively. And we want to see, I guess, what they brought. Has Blizzard done the right thing, or have they just sort of made them overpowered beyond belief? Because if that Tacita ban is any indication, for some reason people did not want to let him through tonight.
And it's going to be interesting to see how much it can actually enable the Sonya, because Sonya was, generally speaking, a pick that was done exclusively on Inferno Shrines, because Whirlwind, well, it did a number on those little dudes, as you like to coin them, especially with Tesla on top. You got shields, you got regen, you got lifesteal. Now with the Whirlwind changes, it gets even more ridiculous. Potentially why we see Morales there to provide a lot of sustained healing to really counteract that. But also they have the Varian. Now, we've touched briefly on the Varian. The Taunt, it completely interrupts it. You can get a charge stun as well. If you time it correctly, the Sonya pick is, in essence, negated. And speaking of essence, we got Dahaka. That gives them a much-needed global presence. That could be the swinging factor in this game, Bandy. But how about you introduce these two teams?
No worries, Skimmy. So I'll kick things off with the red team. We've got Sweet Dreams, Katori playing Tychus, Vikarek on Dahaka, Penta on Varian, Lahal playing Li Ming, and Fesh playing Lieutenant Morales.
And on the left-hand side is Nomia. We saw them last game. They're going to be again in this game, Towers of Doom, for game number 3 of week 3. And it starts with Arcana on Tacita, John on Vala, Fat94 on Sonya, Robodoba on Muradin, and finally Vanilla on Malfurion. And before we jump into this game, it wouldn't be an ANZ game without a pause, and that's exactly how we're going to get things started off here, Andy.
Just a quick pause to kick things off, but I mean, it's no dramas there. Perhaps someone just, their headset fell off, or perhaps someone forgot something, but no dramas. I was going to touch on Fat94 playing Sonya. It has been one of his, I guess, stronger picks that we've seen him play competitively in the past, so it's going to be very much a comfort, sort of almost like a let the good times roll pick for him, I feel.
Absolutely, and if we touch point on this Warpaint talent for Sonya, has decided to go for this as opposed to block because, well, you know, Tychus, you find no value from that block, so looking for the Warpaint, more sustain when you can't use the Whirlwind, and a much-needed talent to find some value in this setup. But really, it's going to be a lot of eyes on the new rework champions, especially on Tesla, how he finds his feet in this game, as both teams go in for the standard back and forth between bot and mid.
It's just what they do, right? Indeed. And I mean, with Vikarek as well, he's picked up the primal aggression to make sure that he can just push lanes effectively. He gets that bonus damage for clearing out the minion wave, so we're going to see a lot of him just sort of sitting down there trying to get that. It's exactly as we predicted, getting up that pressure and then going to the objective with his team.
I feel as if Fat94 has to pressure this lane pretty hard because he gets counteracted by the global essence of what Vikarek can do. He can dig in, he can burrow around, he can make things happen. So Fat94 needs to innately keep this lane pushed in as much as possible to try and prevent Vikarek finding any value. We saw last game, as soon as Right Wing left, those Fat Boys made some work. The Golems connected and they made them pay for that rotation. Robodoba, they're nearly getting a pick onto Penta with the rotation between those lanes. But Fesh, look at this. He's healing the minion. That's how dedicated he is to this lane staying in check.
When you start healing minions, you know that every member of your squad is going to be taken care of, I guess. And they all count. But here we go, Skimmy. The ult is activating now. So what we sort of see is teams trying to cap one on their side and then fighting for that middle point. But what I've started to see, I guess, a lot more in games is that people start contesting the bottom one more as they realize that people shouldn't be trying to get into their territory. But as always, in ANZ, they might just do their own thing.
Speaking of their own thing, we have two members of Nomia in the top side. We've got Vanilla free capping that one. Fat94 comes in for the rotation on towards Vikarek, who, as you mentioned, has gone for the top right. They are doing a great job of delaying here in the mid as Vanilla now joins the crew. So in a 4v4 skirmish, the fight still breaks out in top lane, which could sustain for quite a while. The drag does come out there, but Fat94 does have to sustain. The essence has been popped, so not much of a stalemate really kicking off there. But meanwhile, in the mid, it's going to be a focal point of trying to drain Fesh of all this mana. We've seen it before. It's a tactic heavily used. Whether or not, though, Nomia have to sustain is going to be the next question. But look at that. Fat94 finally gets the advantage. He gets the trade. He gets the 1v1. And it forces Katori to go for the rotate now, Bandy. So this is an interesting situation for mid. They might have enough breathing room, Nomia, to pick this one up.
And it's really all about the stall, as we can sort of see coming out of Fat94 there. He just wanted to stall as much as he could until he could finally take down Vikarek. Vikarek was he was able to withstand a lot But in the long run, he was going to lose eventually because once that essence was down, he had nothing else to sort of heal back from.
And they do actually find the benefit there, Sweet Dreams. They get the cap in top, they get it in mid as well. They did finally pick up the kill on towards Vala, and Li Ming doing Li Ming things. Gets the reset and definitely forces Nomia to retreat from that one. Not going to be too phased by this. It's very early on in this game. Like I said, it's an ANZ historical classic, one that you're going to be telling your kids for years and years to come. The day that a team got 21 shots in one sitting. So this map really is all up for grabs right now. But if we have a look at the build for Tesla that is currently developing, he has gone for the regen globe quest. 40 regen globes can be acquired. This is pretty gnarly if you think about it. And it's then complemented by Carla's light. So that's the most preferred one, I believe, from what I've seen so far, where when it breaks, that shield provides a bit of armor. Always nice to have a bit of armor.
I mean, especially because I was looking at the team comp right there, they only really have one mage, which is Lal. So yeah, definitely the armor's going to be a great plus on whoever Tesla is choosing to bestow the shield upon. So as I said, maybe it's a preferred build for a reason because Roosters are so prevalent in this setup currently.
Warbringer has been picked up by Varian as well. As I mentioned, he's gone for the stun, so definitely look to him as a high priority target for that Sonya to interrupt that whirlwind shenanigans. And in the rhythm actually picked up here by Tychus, which is a bit of a talking point. It gives him a lot of sustain once he's acquired some stats, but sometimes you see the bigger they are, especially for these beefy frontline comps. Get them low, make sure that numbers are there, and then Lahal can clean sweep the rest of them. Speaking of Lahal, he's actually a different hero to Nazebo, Vandy. What's going on?
I don't know. I mean, he obviously realized he had to bring out the big guns on Nazebo, just wasn't going to cut him, not just cut him around and doing a lot of damage there to John poking out. But it's all been healed back up. So with the next altars, it's going to be interesting to see if they go straight or once again another sort of stall, if they just want to sort of let either side have a point each this time around.
And I think they can stall pretty effectively because you can see the Lahal build with the Arcane Orbs really looking to do a ton of poke from afar. That cooldown will be reset if it does find max value. But Vekarak, he gets the capture. He's going to go for the behind grab. He gets the drag on, which has actually got extra value, but the cleanse is so impeccable. Comes out in time. Fat 94 is looking to be aggressive upon. He's down to 50, but the overkill is enough there as it finally picks up the damage. Right now, 4 members of Sweet Dreams in enemy territory as Nomia are swarmed around on the flank, forming a C shape, and they're getting picked off one by one here, Vandy. 2 members gone, and this is Nomia once again having to sacrifice much needed shots.
So Nomia right there, they did not want to let that go if they didn't have to, but it was just proving to be so much coming out from Vikarak, especially getting another grab here, Skimmy.
Oh, beautiful stuff there by Vikarak. He had the essence, he had the support from Fesh, and that is impeccable shot calling right there to say we can go for this. They nearly got John, he was down to 200, but then Vanilla, well, he oversteps his welcome for just a fraction of a second there, and he pays the price. And this is why these two teams are battling for those number 1 and number 2 seed spots.
They really almost know each other with just how many times they've come head to head. So really, they're starting to understand how each other sort of works. And also just, I guess, it was really well executed with, I guess, Sweet Dreams going in, and then this time they were doing the stall right there until Vikarak was able to burrow in and sort of pincer maneuver them, really.
And pincer is what they're trying to do. They are trying to choke Nomia out of this game. They are not giving him any rest whatsoever. They go in for another target, and it's now Fury. And again, this guy has got an absolute target on his mace, on his face. That's what's going on here right now, because there's pure carnage. Pincer 1v3 right now on that point. He might actually get away, Vandy. The parriers are so damn strong, down to 200. But Rob, he is a triathlete. He jumps about, he gets across, he finds the kill. And both teams so dangerously close to level 10. If this fight goes on long enough, 10s are going to be acquired. And this fight is going to find even more value. In the end, though, Nomia do get a 2-1 trade. And they're going to be quite content with that because the orders are up in 20 seconds.
Lahal there just getting a couple of snipes just towards the end, and it was just such a battle with both supports, I guess, sort of falling early. And after that, it was just sort of shenanigans going around. I feel like Sweet Dreams, they could have condensed and sort of pulled back a little bit to focus on one target more effectively. Because it seemed that they were all focusing different people, whereas Nomia sort of brought together, and that's when the kills started happening.
And the kills are looking to happen again because every ultimate is up across the board. It is live, it is ready to rock and roll. Disintegrate already being used, a bit of poke damage. There goes on Twilight Dream, trying to start things off, but Dahaka is the first one to go out in this fight, and that is an empowered Tychus right now. He has got Stim Drone on, he is chucking through damage, and Penta, he's run the wrong way. He's being picked up here, And this is Nomia saying, we can sustain, we can survive, and we can recover. They pick up 2 kills. They find themselves now a level lead. They get some shots in the bag too. And for good measure, steal away a Merc camp.
Just to add some salt to the injury there. And I mean, Nomia not phased at all. This time they were ready with the choke. With their heroic abilities, they were making sure that Sweet Dreams were just going to come into almost a trap because there was not much they could do, nowhere they could really run. And we saw that Archon form being picked up by Tassadar as well now, Skippy.
Yeah, so looking to see Tassadar pump out the damage, pump out the numbers like he used to do back in the day, and it's really going to allow him to be even more of an annoyance read, so to speak, from that backline aspect. He can provide shields from afar, he can provide some much needed damage to complement the final blows for these heroes. And this is now Nomia looking to establish themselves a lead, get themselves back in. They are sticking around in this bot lane for quite a while now, Vandy. They are making sure that this fault is their control for as long as possible.
I mean, they really want it because it's just dividing a lot of the attention coming out of Sweet Dreams. They know that they've got the advantage now by capping one, and they want to put that pressure into sort of keeping it until at least the altar spawn.
Flip side of that though is we see Sweet Dreams right now. They got a member in the mid and in the top lane looking to soak as much as possible. And it seems to be a bit of a race for level 13 right now. Dahaka doing as much as he can to try and warrant a rotation out of Nomia, saying we know what you're trying to achieve here. We know you want level 13. You want to try and force a fight before these altars spawn, which they do in 25 seconds to be specific. And, you know, this is definitely the case right now. They want to make sure they're going to get more shots fired. They want a decisive victory with the talent advantage. But this is Sweet Dreams now coming through, and they're going to start to push up.
They want to push up, and it's all about wasting those all-important seconds for the altar right there. But so much, I guess, good coming out right now. And oh my gosh, Penta in a lot of trouble here, Skimmy.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble right now, but this time Fesh is there in support. He's got the heals on top of him, but the Rain of Vengeance comes across onto 2 members, and that locks it up. That breaks the beam, that breaks the link. John doing desperate things right there. Drop to 130, but he does secure the kill, and he makes things happen for him. The dimensional shift is so well timed. Dodges the drag, makes sure he survives, and they retain that level 13 advantage. Sonya, all the time there, was not even in the fight. She was actually picking up some shots. They get extra value because of that fault that they sustained for so long. And how about add 5 more to the palette as Tesla cleans houses this round.
Exactly right, and I mean, it's interesting because Fat94 initiated the fight and then just sort of failed out, was like, alright, my job here's done, and then took the Merc camps for even more pressure because, as we know, they didn't want to let it cross the threshold because that would be another 3 points counting to the side of Sweet Dreams' total score. So they've almost evened the score now, Skimmy. It's 24-22 now, and in fact, sorry, not even. Now we're seeing Sweet Dreams down because of having those 5 shots per altar.
And as a result of that, you can still see the game plan for Nomia is let's sit in the bot lane, let's try and force a fight. We want to defend this for as long as possible. Shots equal victory conditions. They do go to Robodobo, who will drop rather low, gets a shield, gets some heals, make sure that he is not going to be too low for this next engagement, because right now things are looking pretty heated. Lazy Drill was popped very early on, Banner to complement things. And it just seems to be that these teams have forgotten that actually any other lanes on the map exist. There goes the taunt, that might be what it does to set things off. Twilight Dream comes across, this Tychus gets blown up straight away. Matthew and Root does come across, but not going to be enough because Dahaka gets taken out in sweet succession. 2 gone just like that, Vandy. And that is the patience from Nomia finally paying off for them.
You can just see them. They really want to take back that tower, but they just can't find any sort of footing to try and do so with Nomia just being so aggressive there, Skimmy.
So aggressive indeed. I mean, the damage numbers really complement that. 39,000, soon to be 40 coming out of this Li Ming. Second to none by Tychus at 29. If we flip it over to Nomia and how they're rocking this one, 33,000 on Vala, 25 on Sonya. So the damage numbers are definitely up there on both sides. They are pumping out the deeps. The supports to all these cleansers, I've been watching how they've been coming out, and they are doing some work to make sure these members don't get dragged into unfortunate situations. Drag really being the key term right now, as 2 towers apiece, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, picked up for free. This time, nobody deciding to go for an invade.
Exactly, and I'm starting to see a bit of a strategy come out from Nomia now. Because there's 3 points that can be capped at any one time, they make sure that they send Fat94 because of just how durable Sonya is and just how good she's at just sort of delaying and stalling to the one that could potentially be contested. So that one in the bot lane there, they sent it to it. But oh my god, we're going to see a boss cap over here too by Nomia.
You could see Vikrat walked in and kind of had that whole like, hey guys, there's there's people here. Can we do anything? He's actually walked up to the bot lane, sorry, to the Merc camp, and he's gonna pay the price. He popped Burrow so early. Root, Twilight Dream, every alternate, or every cooldown needed to secure that kill has been deployed, and that just even secures that lead. Even further now, Vandy, every other member of Sweet Dreams is in the bot lane, forced to clear that fault. It's 16-15 right now, and this is Nomia suddenly finding their footing, really getting that gear cranking, and trying to secure this game with only 8 shots left to go.
They're really looking now for that win, Skimmy. They know exactly what to do and how to secure it. It's just all about that bullying and, like you said, just catching team members out in awkward situations. Like, Vicarak knew something was up, but perhaps one could argue it was better for him to be with his team because it just sort of made him just not really have any presence and just losing that all-important soak. Because, once again, that's how Nomia can kind of press the advantage. They always just sort of get that little minute lead and it just all adds up in the end.
From a macro standpoint, it definitely seems like Nomia have a game plan, and it looks like Sweet Dreams are responding to that. Look at this positioning on the map. Always Sweet Dreams running around, acting reactively, and that's a scary position to be in, because if you're playing to somebody else's game plan, you find yourself slowly being whittled down, and you can't afford to be in this case. They have only 8 shots remaining on the board. They need to defend these chess pieces, so to speak, and it's going to be now Fat94 deciding that that's not what you're going to be able to do. We are playing on our terms, and he's going to get amongst things. Rapid the Berserker being popped. They're jumping into this fight with so much force and power. Arcana, talking about power, has Arcane form active and running, and it's going to be Fat94 jumping into the backline, but Twilight Dream comes across. It's going to be Fat94 down to 30 health. Arcane all whiffs by his face, not going to be phased. And Sweet Dreams really is the key term here, because 2 of their members were sent to bed.
Unfortunately, they were, and just to see Fat94 escape on just a tiny sliver of health, we've seen another point in this game. It's just so frustrating for Sweet Dreams now. They're really just trying to get back that ground. But when team members are... Look at cheeky Robodoba there, by the way, Skimmy. I just saw him up there on the corner of my screen.
He's just not phased. He knows how well the team are doing. He knows that this has provided so much pressure for them in the past. How about we just go back to the bot lane? It worked for us last time. We got some kills. We got an advantage. Should we just do it again, team? I think that's the kind of the mindset coming out here. But from a serious standpoint, the boss is up in 2 minutes. They don't have to rush anything right now. They've got 21 shots in the bag themselves. Anything above that would be stupid. So they can play this one as slowly and as patiently as they want. And you can see what they're trying to do here is escort in those bombers, but it's not going to be about Mafia and getting dragged again. Once again, the man with a target on his head, he finds himself dropped. And amongst all that, though, Vandy, they managed to escort at least 1 shot in. 2 left now for Sweet Dreams.
It's going to be really down to the wire here. They need this altar, or they need to kill team members of Nomia here so they cannot cap, because they have their win condition on hand. Even if they recap this fort down here, it's still going to be 3 points. So really, it all comes down to either killing them or getting that all-important altar, otherwise it's going to be GG, Sweet Dreams.
Absolutely, Vandy. Couldn't say it better myself. This is really where it makes and breaks it for Sweet Dreams. Now, if you're in dead for another 17 seconds, they need to really hammer home that advantage. No support, no throughput. They have Lieutenant Morales, and you can see here that, like we mentioned already, Nomia know that they are so far ahead. They don't have to risk anything. It'd be stupid to do anything otherwise. They've got a level of lead. They've got point lead. They can play it patiently. They can afford to sacrifice a few shots, and they're going to make sure that the next order that spawns around, they go for it. On the flip side of that, they can defend this for as long as possible. The Merc camp is up in 30 seconds. That alone would be a win condition if they could at least secure 2. So we go back to the shenanigans in the bot lane, Vandy, and we can talk about this ARAM, so to speak.
It almost does look like an ARAM, doesn't it? But it's just interesting. Like, I'm really just admiring Nomia for being able to hold that fort for so long, just give them no ground. They've been stuck in the kill zone, Sweet Dreams, for so long. In that every time they try to get out, they just can't. The only chance they get of a kill is just Vicarak pulling someone into the kill zone and them all collapsing. And all the meantime, sort of, we got Fat94 continuing to take the Mercam, which they're just ever so slightly just trying to toe in to get those last 2 points to clinch the game.
Clinch the game is what they are looking to do right now. Tahaka trying to put some pressure in the top lane once again to try and even out the structure deficit, but he's going to have to get back to this team in a second, because those golems, I should say those bombers, are up and they are ready. They are active to make some work happen. And he's been the linchpin, really, for this team setup. He's always managed to find a drag, complemented by the taunt, and they've managed to find a kill and drag them into those cannons. So those cannons at the base entrance. They do a lot of work. You could say that's your 6th member on this team. But look at this, there goes the fight once again. Twilight Dream is used to start things off right now. They're looking for the initial kill on towards Baron, and they do find it. Complimented there by Dahaga, taken off the ball. Both tanks gone, no front line to sustain, and Gattori, John just does not care. He is screaming YOLO at the top of his voice, finds the kill, and they get the Bombers through the gates. GG there by Nomia, securing another decisive victory against their rivals for week 3 now, Vandy.
They definitely came back from almost an upsetting start for them, I believe, and that's just what added fuel to the fire and made them want to come back even stronger because, as we sort of saw, it just became their game plan of, okay, how can we best do it? Once they had their heroics, it was just a total different, almost like a new team. Nomia just was reforged, and then they were really bringing the pain to Sweet Dreams.
From an MVP standpoint, we're going to bring up a few nominations for me. I thought that Vicarak, he had a few shaky moments in that game, but definitely the drags really allowed him to have some highlight reels of his own. But I was going to talk mainly about Tessadar. Tessadar did a lot of work that game. I felt he was so dirty. It felt annoying to go up against, and it feels like he's found his new place, especially with Archon now being the chosen method for the ultimate.
I'd have to agree with you on the Tassadar. I definitely thought Vicarak was just so on point with all of his pulls, but just seeing the way Arcana was just getting that damage done with what's it called? Archon, sorry. Just being able to slow now. It was just doing so much work and making sure that team members of Sweet Dreams just couldn't escape. So I'd have to agree with you, Skimmy, and let's give it to Arcana.
Well, there you go, Arcana. The judges have spoken, so to speak, and you get yourself round number 3 in the draw for the MVP nomination, getting yourself a sweet chance at winning at Plantronics headset. But that does it for us. Round number 4 coming up very shortly, but for the meantime, you can listen to the sweet words of Kitfox.
Oh, Skimmy, you're all too kind, my friend. Well done there. Great casting and great game between Nomia and Sweet Dreams. Nomia extending their ever-growing lead. I think it's pretty safe to say that those guys, well, they're pretty much qualified for the HGC, Nomia. I don't think anybody can catch them, so well done. They're pretty much in, and we'll be back very, very soon. We are going to give away the Little Rag bundle. Don't forget, we haven't forgotten away that one. If you haven't done so already, type raffle into the chat, all caps. Please, only one entrant per person, and we'll push you into the draw. We'll spin the wheel, and hopefully your name comes up. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back here very, very soon for some more action right here on GameStar TV.